Imagine a tenant whose lease has ended, but they simply haven't moved out. You've given them notice, but they're still there. It can be a frustrating and confusing situation for any property owner. So, what's a landlord to do when a tenant stays beyond their welcome? Yes, generally, landlords absolutely need to evict an overstaying tenant through the proper legal channels. While it might seem counterintuitive to evict someone whose lease has already expired, skipping this official process can lead to significant legal problems for the landlord. The core reason for this lies in property law, specifically the concept of tenancy at sufferance or a holdover tenancy. When a lease expires, the tenant loses their legal right to occupy the property. However, if they remains, even without permission, they are still considered a tenant in many jurisdictions until a court orders their removal. This means they retain certain tenant rights, and you, as the landlord, cannot simply change the locks, remove their belongings, or shut off utilities. Such actions are known as self-help evictions and are illegal in nearly all areas. They can result in substantial fines, damages paid to the tenant, and even criminal charges for the landlord. The legal system protects against such actions to ensure due process and prevent chaos. So, how do you regain lawful possession? It involves following the specific eviction procedures outlined by your local and state laws. Typically, this process begins with serving the tenant a formal notice to quit or notice to vacate, which informs them that their tenancy is over and they must leave. If the tenant still does not move out after the notice period expires, the landlord then files an unlawful detainer lawsuit or similar action in court. A judge will hear the case, and if the landlord prevails, the court will issue a judgment for possession. Finally, a law enforcement officer, like a sheriff or marshal, will execute the writ of possession, physically removing the tenant and their belongings if they still refuse to leave. Understanding the proper steps, like the difference between a notice to quit and an unlawful detainer action, is crucial. A notice to quit is a prerequisite, informing the tenant of the landlord's intent, while an unlawful detainer is the actual court case. Furthermore, knowing that proper service of these documents is vital ensures the legal process is valid. Mistakes in any of these stages, such as incorrect notice periods or improper document delivery, can cause significant delays or even lead to the case being dismissed, forcing the landlord to start over. This can cost valuable time and money. By adhering strictly to the legal eviction process, you are not only protecting your property rights but also shielding yourself from potential lawsuits and legal penalties. It ensures a clear, documented path to regaining possession of your rental property, maintaining peace of mind, and the integrity of your investment. It is always wise to consult with a legal professional familiar with landlord-tenant laws in your specific area when navigating these complex situations.